Hello dear traders, you're watching Economic Calendar on Insta TV with me, Anna Kasatkina. In the first half of the coming week, markets will keep an eye on the following macroeconomic events. On Wednesday, Australia will report on its economic growth rates for the second quarter of 2016. Pundits project a quarterly rise of 0.4% and a yearly increase of 3.2%. In the first 3 months of the year, Australia's gross domestic product grew by 1.1% on a quarterly basis, after a gain of 0.6% in the fourth quarter of 2015. Australian economic growth rates accelerated because of rising exports and consumer spending. The country's GDP expanded by 3.1% year-over-year in the March quarter this year. Economists had expected slower growth rates of 2.8%. Later in Wednesday's session, the United Kingdom will release its industrial production data. Economists forecast a drop of 0.2% in comparison with the previous month and an increase of 1.9% on a yearly basis. In June, Britain's industrial production edged up by 0.1% from the May figure. Rises in gas and crude extraction from the North Sea and energy output offset contraction in manufacturing production. After a fall in the first quarter, the British industrial sector slipped into recession for the third time in 8 years. Industrial production started shrinking at the end of the previous year. Reductions in metals industry became the key factor behind falling industrial output. The decrease was partially offset by an advance in the oil and gas sphere. On Wednesday as well, the Bank of Canada will announce its key interest rate for September. Markets anticipate the same overnight rate of 0.5%. At the previous meeting, the central bank stood pat on its benchmark rate of 0.5%. The decision had been widely expected by analysts. Canada's inflation is getting closer to the target of 2%, which it should hit in 2017, given that the complex adjustment underway in the country's economy proceeds. In general, inflationary risks are roughly balanced, though the fallout from Brexit is still unclear and hard to predict. The overall balance of risks remains within the zone for which the current monetary policy is appropriate. At the beginning of the next week, reports on business activity will see the light of day in Japan, China and Europe. The data is scheduled for release on Monday. On Tuesday, the Reserve Bank of Australia will announce its key interest rate decision, and the United States will unveil its data on non-manufacturing business activity. On Wednesday, Germany will reveal its industrial production statistics, and the United States will provide the Beige Book report. And this concludes the calendar of the latest financial events on Insta TV. See you next week. Bye.